Well, yeah, I want to live long enough to see the younger generation not be woke enough for the next generation. That's
That's,
that's
would be exquisitely satisfying. Yes.
Whoa, it's gonna happen.
Right.
Don't they realise that
Yeah.
it's like they're next?
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Ricky Gervais is one of the few who will call Hollywood out on their baloney sausage. He will speak out against cancel culture. He's one of the few kind of Hollywood elites that seems relatively untainted by the stain that seems to follow Hollywood everywhere. And, you know, ultimately, I'm very, very happy to report he has done it again. He has called out these woke Gen Zers and called for them to get essentially what's coming to them. Before I get into his hilarious quote, huge shout out to this video's very important sponsor, Geology. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Geology. Look, I know a huge percentage of my viewership is men, and we don't think about our skincare nearly enough, which is why I'm proud to work together with Geology. What is Geology? Well, it's a simple skincare routine formulated for daily use. The product set is great for both individuals new to skincare and seasoned skincare experts. The program is really super easy. They have a 30-second diagnostic quiz where they formulate a regimen that provides the benefits your skin needs the most, whether it's reduce dark and puffy eyes, fight acne and keep oily skin under control, or to just protect your skin and reduce fine lines. Their products work best as a set. The Everyday Face Wash, the Vital Morning Face Cream, Repairing Night Cream, and the Nourishing Eye Cream. They have over 3,000 5-star reviews with an average customer rating of 4.7 out of 5 and have been recognized by Men's Health, Esquire, Ask Men, and more. Head on over to geology.com and take their free skincare quiz and save up to 40% off your 30-day trial, or just click the link in the description below. That's geology.com to save 40% on your 30-day trial. Now, we all remember Ricky Gervais. Hey, by the way, take the quiz. It helps the channel, lets a sponsor know that, we're out there, and I think you'll like their product. Anyway, Ricky Gervais, we've seen absolutely eviscerate Hollywood on several different occasions with his opening monologues and various jokes through the Grammys or the Emmys or whatever it is that he hosts. I couldn't care less, because essentially they're a room full of uber rich people patting themselves on the back for 2 hours. But he recently appeared on a podcast talking about the young generation is next up. Comedian and actor Ricky Gervais this week doled out a message to youngsters and Gen Zs. You can never be woke enough, and there will come a day when you get eaten by your own increasingly strict and bizarre standards. Joining Sam Harris on his podcast, Absolutely Mental, Gervais mocked Gen Z. I want to live long enough to see the younger generation not be woke enough for the next generation. It's going to happen, the Afterlife star promised. They don't realize that it's like they're next, right? That's what's funny. We kicked out the old guard. We did it, Gervais said. There's only so woke and liberal you can get when you start going until you start going the other way, but it's inevitable. You know, a lot of people have pointed this kind of fact out that, maybe people will start becoming maybe being conservative will be cool. There was a time when, conservative values in society were kind of the gold standard. I still think obviously there's some mixture. I don't think it's good to be all liberal or all conservative. Obviously, I want people to think for themselves. But I think the return of the trad wife or trad dad is probably coming to some small degree, because he's right. Eventually, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And hopefully I'm YouTubing long enough. Hopefully my old, bald, wrinkly butt is sitting right in this chair, maybe in a different studio, and we can laugh at it. All these former TikTok star found to be used, and it will be some new standard. I won't even be able to, not neo pronoun enough. And then it's like, at some point, you would hope that this stops. The next scary thing, Fox News noted that Gervais in December similarly took a swing at progressivism and cancel culture. Quote, "The scary thing is being canceled if you say the wrong thing, and suddenly Netflix can take you off their platform," he told the Smartless podcast. "You could be the most woke, politically correct in the stand-up in the world at the moment, but you don't know what it's like going to be and what it's going to be like in 10 years' time," the 60-year-old argued. "You can get canceled for things you said 10 years ago." Oh, 10? Significantly longer than that. The misunderstanding about cancel culture is that some people think you should be able to say anything you want without consequence. And that's not true, because we're members of society and people are allowed to criticize you, Gervais continued. They're allowed to not buy your things, they're allowed to burn your DVDs, they're allowed to turn the telly off. What they're not allowed to do is to bully other people into not going to see you. We see this with Louis C.K., for example, who had his issue in the past. We've seen this right now with, what's his name? The Chris D'Elia. I mean, the guy's never been charged of anything from what I know, and he's been completely abandoned. I'm not saying I stand next to the guy, but I'm saying I would happily bring him on my platform to hear his side of things. Notably, there have been increasing calls from some of the left to deplatform comedians like Dave Chappelle from Netflix. His crime is telling jokes concerning transgenderism and, ironically, the hateful backlash people get for daring to disagree with leftist ideology. Gervais again made politically incorrect noise back in 2020 when he hosted the Golden Globes and took Hollywood leftists to task. Quote, "Gervais roasted liberal Hollywood elite for their woke posturing while living degenerate lives, highlighting friendships with people like Mr. Jeffrey to shady business deals with China. If you do win an award tonight, and don't use it as a political platform to make a political speech," Gervais told Hollywood. "You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spend less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So if you win, come up, accept your little award, thank your God, and F off, okay?" Yeah, I mean, I would argue that that's probably a reasonable thing to expect of people. And it's just like watching Kamala Harris, our vice president, talk about climate change and then jump on a private jet to do it. Or Leonardo DiCaprio, who's, a champion for climate change, flying all over the place on his private jet. These people are so disconnected from reality that, they just have no idea. I mean, and NBC, by the way, won't even air the 2022 Golden Globes because it's that bad. I mean, you see the original, this is back from the Golden Globe speech. Apple roared into the TV game with The Morning Show, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right made by a company that runs sweatshops in China, he said. So you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, Apple, Amazon, Disney, if the Tally had a streaming service, you'd all be calling your agents. Gervais mocked the stars in attendance for the relationship to Mr. Jeffrey. Next up on Gervais's joke list was Felicity Huffman, who recently completed a stint in prison for her role in the college admission scandal. "Y'all look lovely dolled up. You came here in your limos. I came here in a limo, and the license plate was made by Felicity Huffman," he said to the crowd, who cringed. "It's her daughter I feel sorry for. That's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to her, and her dad was in Wild Hogs." Leonardo DiCaprio attended the premiere. By the end, his date was too old for him. Even Prince Andrew was like, "Come on, mate. You're nearly 50. I absolutely love it. With that, the host quickly welcomed Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and roasted everybody else. I'm glad. It's scary that there's like two people in mainstream culture that are calling this kind of stuff out. And it's like two of the biggest comedians. They're like uncancelable. Dave Chappelle just sold out his show in the UK. He's so big, like Netflix could take his shows off the air and he still got paid. He still made $100 million doing those stand-up specials for them. So he can go say whatever. You could see, you just don't know how things change over time. And I think people do need to roll back a little bit roll back their judgment a little bit, and stop trying to ruin people's lives when you just disagree with them. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.